Hello everyone and welcome back to Deck Tech for Decks. Today we're taking a look at Ghyrson Starn. Not only can this guy triple your damage if you build the deck right, but he looks like he walked straight out of a Star Wars film, which I am into, guys. I've seen a lot of people take the spell slingy route. Guys, we're not going that route. We're building straight up tokens. We're going to go and make a massive wide board state of 1/1s and swing in for lethal. Additionally, whenever they enter the battlefield, they're going to deal damage too because we included cards like Impact Tremors, which is absolutely insane with this guy. One last thing before we get into the deck tech, if we strap a curiosity effect to this guy, he goes infinite with a plethora of things in the deck. With introductions out of the way, let's get into the deck tech. We are running Zerzoth Chaos Rider. This guy's perfect in the deck. Not only does he create 1/1s, but when those 1/1s die, they're going to deal 1 damage. The Locust God. This guy's insane in the deck. Whenever we draw cards, we're going to create those 1/1s. Notably, he does go infinite with Skull Clamp and Ashnod's Altar, which are both in the deck. Nader Kraken. Not as good as the Locust God, but this guy can still create a massive board state, and he's just going to get really big while we do it. Krinko Mob Boss. We're just going to keep tapping this guy for a lot of 1/1s, and then we're going to swing in. Talonolus Summoner. I think people miss the part of this card where you get to keep the massive amount of tokens you create, right? All we need to do is have 10 permanents on the battlefield, get the City's Blessing, and now we get permanent 1/1s, and as much mana as we pump into her is the amount of 1/1s we get. She's insane, and I don't think she sees enough play. Chasm Skulker. This guy, talking about insane, right? No, we're going to draw a lot of cards, we're going to make this guy massive, and then we're going to sacrifice him to make a lot of little 1/1s. Notably, those 1/1s are going to have Island Walk. So the blue player's screwed, and he's about to take triple damage from a bunch of 1/1s. Krinko 10 Street Kingpin. Not as good as Mob Boss, but this guy still can create a massive board state. Elemental Mastery. Suit this up to one of our creatures that is just going to get massive from us drawing cards, and we're going to create a lot of little red elemental creature tokens. Whenever we swing in with them, we're going to deal a lot of damage. And hopefully whenever they enter the battlefield, we're going to deal a lot of damage. Mirror Battlesphere. Yes, it's 7 mana, but once it enters the battlefield, we're going to get 4 of those little 1/1s that we can use to just attack our opponents with. Canoptic Scarab Swarm. This one's really good because everybody is always playing a graveyard strategy. We'll hose that player and create a lot of 1/1s doing it. Thopter Assembly. This is the only Thopter in our deck, so go ahead, play it. You'll get 5 Thopters, and when those 5 Thopters deal damage, we're going to deal 15 damage to the face. That wraps up our go wide strategy. Let's get into the 1 damage part of our deck, right? Because we have a lot of cards that just say, hey, whenever blank happens, deal 1 damage to something. But because of our commander, we're going to go ahead and do 3 damage to that thing instead, which is what makes this guy so broken. He's essentially triple damage, and it's a good time. Let's kick it off with Hell Rider. Whenever one of our creatures attacks, it's going to go ahead and deal 1 damage to that player or planeswalker it's attacking. Spiteful Prankster. We're going to be sacrificing a lot of tokens, and a lot of tokens are just going to be blocked, so it's really good that whenever they die, this guy's going to go ahead and make sure we still get our 1 damage off. Witty Roastmaster. This is just Impact Tremors on a creature, which is really good in the deck. Cavalcade of Calamity. Let me paint a picture for you real quick. One of our 1/1s deals damage to our opponent. That's going to be 3 damage. Well, then Cavalcade of Calamity is going to go ahead and see that and deal 3 damage to that opponent too. So we are dealing 6 damage with 1/1s in this deck. That doesn't sound legal, but hey, it happens. Raid Bombardment. This does exactly the same thing. Impact Tremors. Again, let's say, I don't know, we create that 1/1 token. Boom, we deal 3 damage, we attack with it, we deal 3 damage, and then it connects another 3 damage. We're dealing 9 damage with tokens. This, I don't know, this guy he gets out of hand really quickly, guys, really. Goblin Bombardment. Just sacrifice those tokens to deal 3 damage instead of 1. Defiler of Instinct. This guy not only deals damage, but he can give us a little bit of some ramping action here and there. Mana Barbs. This card's effed up, right? Because now whenever they're tapping lands, they're taking 3 damage. They can't let this stay on the battlefield. They'll die. Goblin Chain Whirler. This guy's going to do some damage to our opponents and going to be a mini board wipe. Hissing Iguanar? Yeah, Iguanar. Whenever another creature dies, you may have Hissing Iguanar deal 1 damage to target player or planeswalker. Again, pretty insane because we're going to be sacrificing our tokens for value. Dagger Caster. Again, this guy's like a mini board wipe. Outpost Siege. Whenever a creature you control leaves the battlefield, Outpost Siege deals 1 damage to any target. Notably, if we are hurting on card advantage, we can use it for that first ability. And Niv Mizzet Perun. You guys already know, we can strap Curiosity onto this guy if we need to go infinite. Additionally, he's just solid in the deck. Alright guys, let's look at some of the support cards in the deck. We have Tetsuko Umezawa. All of our 1/1s are now going to be unblockable, which is going to be really good. Basilisk Collar. This one's insane because we're going to be gaining a lot of life, and it makes it to where whenever our commander does deal damage to a creature, that they are going to go ahead and just die. Underworld Breach. We are running some wheel effects, so if we pitch something that we don't want to pitch, we'll need to get that back. Swiftfoot Boots. I would want to protect the commander because people are going to try to get rid of them as soon as they're like, holy, that's a lot of damage out of nowhere. Fabricate, Ashnod's Altar, and Skullclamp are the best cards in the deck, so the fact that Fabricate can get both of those is really good. Anchored to Reality. Yes, this can only get our Skullclamp, but it is the best card in the deck, so we will take that. Well, the best card's probably Curiosity, but you guys know what I mean. It's pretty dang good. Alright guys, let's get into that card advantage. We have, of course, Curiosity, Ophidian Eye, and Tindem Lookout. These 3 cards are what breaks the deck. If we equip this to our commander and he's drawing a card every time he's dealing damage, not only does that get us through our deck really, really fast, but it can go infinite a lot of times. Moving on, we have Skullclamp. Again, really good in the deck. Faithless Looting. Nothing feels better than having this in your opener, dropping a mountain and drawing 2 cards on your first turn. Curiosity Crafter. Whenever our tokens deal damage, we're going to go ahead and draw a card. Additionally, we'll have no maximum hand size, which will be useful. Sabira Tolzidi Caravaner. This one's really good. I mean, you will need a pretty big board state to pull her off, but honestly, I mean, let's just think about it. If we've got 3 cards in hand, we don't like them, we've got 3 tokens, yeah, it'll be a good trade-off. Discard those 3 cards, draw 3 new cards. Maybe they're good, maybe they're not. Dark Dweller Oracle. Go ahead and sacrifice a creature, exile the top of your library, and you'll be able to play it. Pretty good. Professional Facebreaker. Not only is this going to create a lot of treasure tokens, but it can go ahead and turn those treasure tokens into card advantage. Windfall. Like I said, we are running some wheels in here just to get us through our deck. Wheel of Misfortune and Jeska's Will. I really like Jeska's Will in the deck because it's solid card advantage and will give us mana to cast those cards. For our next category, we have Ramp. Let's hit it up with Ashnod's Altar. You guys knew it would be in here, and it's really good in the deck. Just sacrificing those useless tokens for mana is really good. Notably, it does set off, remember, all of our 1 damage. Whenever one of our creatures dies, we're going to go ahead and deal 1 damage. So it's very useful as a Salk outlet on its own. Treasure Map. I really like this one because you get to scry a little bit, and after you scry a little bit, not only do you get a land, but you're going to get those 3 treasure tokens. Honestly, I think it's a little underrated. Playing this turn 2 never feels bad. Dockside Extortionist. Now hear me out. I know it's a pretty powerful card, but let's be honest. I was running a little short on ramp options, and Dockside, he's the OG. He'll get it done. Neheb the Eternal. This guy, I mean, he's got no ceiling, right? If we're dealing a lot of damage to our opponents, we're going to be getting a lot of mana also, so I'm really into it. Wayfarer's Bauble, just really efficient turn 1 play. And then finally we have Talisman of Curiosity. Midnight Clock. Midnight Clock, I'm giving it a shot, guys. I'm giving it a shot. Think about it. It does trigger on each upkeep. 3 turn cycles with 4 players, and it's going to go ahead and draw you 7 cards. It could work. It could work, especially late game. You know, well, maybe not late game, but mid game, you're running out of steam. It can get you back into the game. Then we've got the boring stuff. We've got Arcane Signet, Izzet Signet, and Soul Ring, obviously. Let's move on to removal. We have End the Festivities. Again, this is just a solid board wipe for 1 mana. I mean, it is soft, right? Anything above 3, we ain't touching, but it's okay. Next up, we're running a lot of counter spells, guys. Because we are in blue, it's kind of a powerful strategy, so let's run counter spells. We need to protect our board. Counterspell, negate, an offer you can't refuse, 1 mana, really good, right? Arcane Denial, Swan Song, again, 1 mana, really good. I mean, they get a 2/2 bird, but who cares? Chaos Warp, just in case anything does land and we need to get rid of it. Vandal Blast, solid for getting rid of those treasure tokens. That's going to do it for the deck, guys. If you're new, please subscribe. I try to do a lot of deck techs. It's my favorite thing to do. Like, comment, that really helps me out, and I'll see you guys in the next one.